This conference will now be recorded.
Now let's talk about something, how you actually have to practice SAP FICO from the beginning. Okay, if you have not started your practice, start in the way that we are going to discuss now. So before you start your FICO configuration or FICO practice, there are a couple of things that you have to keep in your mind. First thing is SAP FICO practice from beginning. Okay, first one that you should remember is take any one global company. Okay, take any one global company. When we talk about global company, company operating in more than one country. Clear? When you talk about a global company, company operating in more than one country, and the company you take must be familiar to you. When I say the company you take must be familiar to you, you are aware of company, business, process, products, country of operations. Okay, when we say this, you must know what is your company business process, what are the company products, in which countries they are operating. Next one. So these two are the basic points. First, you should have one company name in your mind, and this company information must be genuine company information, right? It's not that you are assuming anything of your own. If you're assuming anything of your own, it has to be accurate. It's not that it's my test company, it's my practice purpose. It's fine. In real time it is different. Always keep in your mind, when you're practicing, it has to be exactly the replica of real time. Tomorrow when you're in a project, when you're in an organization, you should not find anything different than what you have practiced here. Okay, that is most important. Now next one, split configuration into different parts. You'll have to split your SAP FICO configuration into different parts. First one is your baseline configuration. Okay, first one is your baseline configuration. Remember the same terminologies. When you talk about baseline configuration, you have to keep two things in your mind. Your baseline configuration means enterprise structure and global parameters or settings. Okay, so you mean enterprise structure, global parameters, or global settings. These two together, we call it as baseline configuration. Tomorrow, when you're in an organization, when you're in any project, we do not call it as enterprise structure. We do not call it as global parameters or settings. In short, combining of these two, we will represent as baseline configuration. Okay. Now, here baseline configuration is initiated by FICO consultant in any project. If you're in any project, you as a FICO consultant will be initiating baseline configuration. So when you talk about baseline configuration, immediately you have to get all the list of activities performed in the baseline. So those are your company code, chart of accounts, fiscal year variant, posting period variant, field status variant, tolerance groups, document splitting, tax procedure, controlling area. Any other points?
Chart of accounts,
It's already mentioned in
leading
the
ledger,
beginning.
non-leading ledger.
Leading and
Sorry.
non-leading ledger,
Activation of profit center,
parallel currencies. Parallel currencies we mean local,
accounting,
group, accounting principles. What else?
Profit center basic setting.
Profit center basic settings, profits
zero key
center
file, interact,
groups, profit center master,
cost center hierarchy, cost center master,
cost center hierarchy, cost center master data. What else?
define ledger for CO version,
Ledger for CO versions. Okay.
consistency check,
Consistency check,
document number ranges,
GL document number ranges, CO document number ranges. What else? You need GL master data. What else? If we go through all this, anything are we missing? We have written company code, chart of account. Go on, Meet Raju. Company code, chart of account, fiscal year variant, posting period variant, field status variant, tolerance group, document splitting, tax procedure, controlling area, leading and non-leading ledgers, parallel currencies, accounting principle, profit center basic settings, profit center hierarchy, profit center master data, cost center hierarchy, cost center master data, ledger for your controlling version, consistency check of all your baseline configuration, GL document number range, controlling document number range, GL master data. Anything else we need?
No, sir.
Or we've covered everything,
Covered, sir.
right? So all the above steps are mandatory for any new company code created in SAP S/4HANA. Okay, so once you have all these settings defined in the system, make sure your first GL document is posted as below. Okay, so you will have any accounting entry. Let me take bank incoming account debit, capital account credit. Let's assume this is your initial accounting entry for, let's say, some 5 lakhs. 5 lakh INR. Here also you need 5 lakh INR. Assuming this is what the first entry that you are posting. Now, if you are posting this as your first entry, you should have certain checklist what is to be checked from your accounting entry. It is not that you are able to post a document, a debit credit amount you have given, control S or click on post, document got posted, you got the document number. That is not correct. Okay, technically it may be correct, but when you're in a project, that is not correct. Now, what things that we'll have to check? You have to check ledgers, posting periods, fiscal years. When you talk about ledger, what do we mean? You mean leading, non-leading ledger?
Yes, sir.
Leading and non-leading ledgers to be updated. Make sure your document is updated both in leading ledger and non-leading ledger. Second one, posting periods. According to accounting principles, make sure posting periods are correct. Example, Feb is your period 2 in Jan to December, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Feb is equal to 11 in April to March. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
You have to ensure your period is properly updated according to the posting date that you're taking, considering your accounting principles. If you're considering Indian accounting standards or Indian accounting principle, your February month transaction has to update as period number 11. According to April to March, February falls under period number 11. If you are considering IFRS accounting principle, you have to see the same transaction is also reflecting in period number 2 according to IFRS, which is your calendar year, Jan to December. Similarly, fiscal year. So it has to, from the above, it has to be 2022 and 2023. One document will represent in 2022 fiscal year. The same document is represented in 2023 based on your fiscal year or accounting principle. That also you have to verify in the first document itself. Next point, currency and amount. When we talk about currency and amount, we mean, or I'll simply put, okay, currency, it has to update 3 currencies minimum. One is your document currency. Next one is your local currency. Third one is your group currency. If these 3 currencies are not updated in your first transaction, your transaction is not accurate transaction, or your transaction is not a real-time transaction. Next one, amount. Currency conversion must be verified based on exchange rate updated. Let's say your document currency is INR, your local currency is INR, your group currency is dollar. System will have to convert the numbers according to the exchange rates that you have updated. So this you have to verify. Do not blindly accept whatever the number coming from the system when you put your currency. In your first document itself, you have to verify this. Now, for this, we'll have to update maintain currency exchange rates. Next one, profit center update. So make sure all the lines of the document is updated with profit center. Make sure all the lines of the document is updated with profit center. In short, if any of the line item is not updated with profit center, your document is not supposed to get posted. If you are able to post a document without profit center, then there is something wrong. Even though your entry got posted, that is not the correct way of posting. Okay, any other points to be checked from your first document?
No, sir.
If cost center is used in the entry, CO document should also get generated. Okay, if you are assigning cost center to your document, you should also get the controlling document number. So it should give you 2 document numbers, one financial accounting document, the other one is controlling area document or CO document. Clear? And one more point to be added here. Open the current posting period only according to accounting principles. Do not open the whole year open. That is wrong. That's a big blunder mistake. Okay, most of the people will keep the whole year open and then they start posting the entries, which is absolutely wrong. Always keep only the current period open according to your accounting principle. February is what you're talking about. For you, February is period number 11 according to one accounting principle. February is period number 2 according to another accounting principle. So make sure period number 11, period number 2 are opened in the respective posting period variants. Right? So this is your initial step of baseline configuration. We are not discussing what is what, but you have to keep these points in your mind. Tomorrow if somebody is asking you in your interview or anywhere what is baseline configuration, or if you were to define or configure or set up a new company code, what would you do or what is your approach? You're not supposed to talk about enterprise structure, you're not supposed to talk about global parameters, settings and all. Instead, use only one term called baseline configuration. And as a FICO consultant, you are the first person to maintain the configuration settings in the SAP system. Only after you complete the baseline configuration, the other module consultants will start their configuration. So every other module consultant will have a dependency on your finance baseline configuration. Clear? Now, no. Maintain a separate TR number for baseline configuration alone. Do not combine all your configurations in single TR. You should strictly put only one TR for baseline configuration so that this can be moved without having any other dependency. Once your baseline configuration is completed, the dependency of the other modules is eliminated. So you are free to release this transport request to the other clients like development, quality, so that the other module consultants can start their working or testing. Once the baseline configuration is completed, then you have to start your actual finance related configuration. After baseline configuration, so start FICO actual business process configurations. Okay, do not call it by the topic name. Do not go by the topic name. Your topic names will come only in your training program. When you're in a project, when you're in an organization, nothing called as a topic. Clear? So remove that terminology from your mind. Everything, instead of calling it as a topic, call it as a business process. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, we will get used to the same terminology. Tomorrow in your interview or in your project with your client or anywhere, if you are using the same terminology, this belongs to AP topic, AR topic, then you're wrong. You are giving the wrong indications. You're trying to project as if you're a trained candidate instead of you're a real-time candidate. Okay, the terminologies that you are using while interacting with your client, especially in your interview, will give a clear instructions to the other person to realize whether you are a trained candidate or you are a real-time or a proper SAP FICO candidate. Forget about real-time trained, keep only FICO consultant or a trained candidate. Right? So decide what kind of terminology you are going to use, what kind of examples you are going to give when you're interacting with the other person. That will clearly let the other person realize what category you fall under. FICO training or FICO consultant. Only two. Okay. Now, once your baseline is completed, now you can take everything as business process configuration. Do not call it as topic. Now you can take accounts payable baseline configuration When you're talking about accounts payable baseline configuration, this includes only few settings. This includes only a few settings wherein you are able to process a vendor transaction. When you're talking about a vendor transactions, be very specific from the finance point of view, vendor invoice. In order to generate a vendor invoice, what settings are needed? Those settings you'll have to create under accounts payable baseline configuration. Let's say vendor account groups, vendor number ranges, assignment of account group to number ranges. Next, BP settings. There are three more BP settings: BP grouping,
BP number range, customer vendor integration.
BP groups, number range, and CVI, customer vendor integration, in short CVI. And one more thing you'll have to include here, tolerance group. Though it is part of your basic baseline configuration, you should also include this here. If you do not have tolerance group, you are not going to post the vendor transaction. It will stop you. And then you need to have vendor BP master data, number ranges, and then you have to post the accounting entries. When you are posting the accounting entries, make sure your accounts payable entry should be as below. It should be expense account. You can take any example. Debit, let's say 3000 INR. Vendor account credit 3000 INR. When you pass this entry, here again you have to keep a note of certain things. Same settings, same points that you have noticed during your initial entry of GL. Right? Ledgers, posting period, fiscal year, currency, conversions, profit center, cost center, everything. Along with, you have to pay attention on understand the concept of active document splitting, because vendor invoice is the perfect example for you to understand active document splitting. Similarly, passive document splitting you will understand with your vendor payment. Okay, like this you have to create vendor or the basic accounts payable business process. In the similar fashion, you have to define accounts receivable baseline configuration so that you are able to create a customer, you are able to create a customer invoice. There also same thing. Understand the concept of active document splitting with invoice and understanding the concept of passive document splitting with your customer payment. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Right? So no surprise, tomorrow you might be asked a question on this. You might be asked a question on this. The way you are answering will represent your confidence, your technique, and your knowledge. So make sure you are able to present in a different way. Any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Right, so let's put the accounts receivable baseline configuration. Accounts receivable baseline. What will be added here? Customer, account groups,
Number ranges, assignment,
customer number ranges, assign number ranges to account groups. After this,
BP,
BP settings. After this BP setting, customer vendor integration, BP grouping, number range, everything, tolerance group. Instead of vendor BP master, here it will be your customer master. Once your customer master is created, you have to pass the initial entry. Accounts receivable entry should be customer account debit, let's say some 6,000. And sales account credit 6,000. Something like this you have to pass. Even in this entry, you have to pay attention to all the parameters, periods, fiscal year, amount, currency, conversion, everything you have to look for this. Along with this, you have to pay attention on important point, document splitting. Clear? Now, this is what, or this is the way you have to keep your practice starting from the beginning. Okay, which company you are going to take is your choice. Whatever the company you take, it is fine, but make sure you are aware of the company. Just like that, do not create any company code blindly. So always keep in your mind, if you are starting a company code, you are able to generate a balance sheet for the same company code. Okay, that point is supposed to be in your mind. Assuming I take a company as Dell India. If I want to take this as my practice purpose company code, I must know what Dell India does. I know that Dell is a computer related brand. I can easily say Dell deals in laptops, desktops, monitors, accessories. So I know what products Dell is dealing with. Similarly, I decide which profit centers to be created. I will decide, okay, I'll create a laptop as one profit center, desktop as another profit center, accessories as another profit center. And I know that Dell that I am defining is for Indian operations. I am going to create Dell as India legal entity. I am going to create Dell company code under India, but I know that Dell is a global company. When I say Dell is a global company, Dell is operating in multi countries, different countries. So I assume 3-4 countries in my mind. And when I assume 3-4 countries in my mind, I have to keep consolidation in my mind. When I keep consolidation in my mind, I have to think about multiple currencies, multiple accounting principles. For India, I take that I am going to use Indian accounting standards and I am going to use INR as my local currency. For global perspective, I am going to use IFRS as my global accounting principle. I am going to consider dollar as my global currency or group currency. Okay. And keeping this in your mind, you have to define all your baseline configuration settings. It's not that you are going to create just like that whatever comes in your mind. Anything that you're writing here, you have to first put a code manually on the Excel sheet. Do not straight away go to the company code screen, company screen, chart of account screen, start creating the entries. That is wrong. Okay, first take one Excel sheet, write down all the steps, company, company code, chart of account in a sequential order. For everything, keeping your company in your mind. Let's say in this example, we are considering Dell. Put everything with respect to Dell. What is your company code for Dell? What is your company for Dell? What chart of account are you going to use? How many chart of accounts do you actually need? Because you have three type of chart of accounts. Out of three, which one is mandatory for your practice purpose? Which chart of account are you going to use? Keep a list like this in your Excel sheet. Now remember, this Excel sheet that you are keeping only with the codes of every setting is called as KDS document. What is KDS?
Key data structure.
Key data structures document. Have this list, have the KDS document ready. KDS document means in the same Excel sheet you update, but tune your mind in such a way that whatever the codes you are writing in the Excel sheet is your KDS document. Clear? If I put those points here, important points. First, take a company name. Okay, example Dell. Second point, take products of the company. Which products your company is dealing with? Dell I am taking as laptops, desktops, accessories. Third one, country of the legal entity. Okay, so which legal entity you are taking? Let's say India, and operating in other countries. You take maybe USA, Singapore, Dubai, something like that. Other countries also you consider, and operating currency in India, INR. Next one, group currency for consolidation will be dollar. You also take accounting principles. IFRS and Indian Companies Act. Next one, and list all the baseline config settings in KDS format. List the identification codes in KDS document. If you're talking about company code, you know what is company code, you know what is the T code of company code. You also know what is your company. You know that you are going to define Dell. Now, according to Dell, according to your mindset, what code are you planning to give to Dell? Are you going to give Dell as your company code, or you are going to use any other 4 digits of your choice? Whatever you are planning to do, put that in the Excel sheet. Do not directly configure in SAP. If you are straight away configuring in SAP, you are doing wrong. Your practice is wrong. Your practice is not going in a right approach. Make sure everything you document in the KDS. From the KDS, you review everything. Make sure everything is properly aligned. All the naming conventions are all proper. Once you are convinced with your KDS document, all the settings are listed in it, then start configuring. Configure the baseline in SAP. Okay, next one, maintain 3 servers clients in your SAP logon pad. When I say 3 servers, 3 clients, go to your SAP logon pad like this, open here. Here you put, if you are practicing Dell, put a new connection as Dell development, Dell quality, Dell production. Clear? Supposed to put Dell development, Dell quality, Dell production. This you already know how to add the connection properties. In the similar way, you are going to add the property. For the next one, create another connection. Just change the name. That's it. Only the description you put a different one. But make sure you will have 3 clients on your logon pad, not only a single one. Am I clear? This is very, very important. And when you are doing baseline configuration, always assume you are configuring in the development 100 client. Okay, assume that you are configuring in development 100 client. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Right, and then the next point, once all the configuration is completed, assume you are posting a document to test, verify the config in development 200 client. Clear? Let's say you've configured everything, but when you are posting a document, tune your mind in such a way that you are not posting in the same client that you are configuring, because that will not happen when you are in a project. When you are in a project, you are not going to post the entry in the same client where you have defined the settings. Your settings are defined in development 100 client. Your transactions, your master records are created in development 200. Okay. Now, to transfer the baseline config from development 100 to development 200, assume you have done client copy using SCC1 T code. Clear? To transfer the baseline config from development 100 to development 200, assume you have done client copy using SCC1 transaction code. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
If you are practicing any new company code, all these points are mandatory. If you are not clear with these points and you are able to create a company code, you are able to post a document, is of not much use. When I say is of not much use, we are representing from an interview point of view, we are representing from a project perspective. You are not aware of these points, but you are good at the configuration, you are good at the document posting, keep that with you only. The other person is not okay with you, the other person is not expecting that from you. Okay, make sure you focus at this area so that tomorrow when you talk to somebody, the other person, let the other person be anybody, maybe another trainer, another trainee like you, another person in your like you who attended the interview, or the person who is taking your interview, or the person who is working in a real environment, or anybody, whatever you're talking, the other person should say yes, you're right. Okay, verify that what you are doing with the person who is working on SAP FICO. Okay, if you tell the same points to a SAP FICO consultant, will that person agree or accept what you said or not? If the other person is accepting, what you're telling is correct. If the other person is not accepting, check if you are able to convince the other person with your answer. Like there must be something in your mind because of which you spoke like this, you explained like this. Agree? It should not be that I read somewhere, somebody told me, I am telling you. If you ask me a cross question, I will go and ask the same person who told me. That should never be the case. If you're talking something about SAP FICO, make sure you are confident enough to justify your statements. Whatever you're talking, make sure you're able to justify with further explanation if required. Okay? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me stop this.